On the night of October 3rd, 1994, 24-year-old schoolteacher Elena Voss vanished without a trace from the quiet town of Ashwick Hollow, Vermont. Her car was found beside Miller's Pond with the engine running, the headlights still on, and the driver's door hanging open. The strangest detail wasn't what investigators found, it was what they didn't. There were no footprints anywhere around the vehicle. For nearly 30 years, the case remained forgotten inside a dusty archive until a documentary crew reopened the evidence box and uncovered something no one expected. Friends described Elena as calm, thoughtful, and deeply respected. But weeks before she disappeared, she became distant, filling page after page with the same unsettling drawing, a small, windowless room containing only a single wooden chair. She quietly admitted she dreamed about the room almost every night, as if she had already been there. Police searched the woods, the lake, and her apartment. They found dozens of nearly identical sketches. Each showed the room from a slightly different angle, almost like someone slowly walking through it. The final drawing, completed on the morning she vanished, showed a person sitting in the chair. The figure had no face. Then, the investigation became even stranger. A cassette tape recovered from Elena's car was originally labeled as nothing but static. 3 decades later, modern audio restoration revealed Elena's voice hidden beneath the noise, repeating one chilling sentence over and over. "The room isn't finished yet." Even more disturbing, the recording appeared to have been created 9 days after Elena officially disappeared. As investigators searched for answers, they uncovered an abandoned research facility known as Hollowgate Institute. Hidden inside was Room 6, a windowless chamber with a single wooden chair. Every detail matched Elena's drawings perfectly, despite the building having closed years before she ever arrived in town. On one wall, investigators discovered a faded spiral carved into the concrete. The same symbol had appeared decades earlier beside another missing person's name. Soon, they uncovered even older disappearances, each connected by the same impossible room, the same recurring dream, and the same haunting spiral. What began as a missing person case was becoming something far older and far more terrifying than anyone had imagined. The photograph Marcus Reyes had taken in 1994 was finally examined using modern forensic technology. At first, it looked like nothing more than an overexposed image. But hidden inside the restored file was something impossible. A digital timestamp from a camera model that wouldn't exist until 2011. Every attempt to explain it failed. The photograph simply refused to obey time. As investigators searched deeper, they uncovered forgotten archive boxes marked only with the same spiral symbol. Inside were decades of missing person cases that had never been connected. Different towns, different years, yet every victim described the same windowless room before vanishing. A historian traced the mystery to a secret research program known as Project Anteroom. According to a surviving document from 1972, researchers believed they could shape a person's future by first listening to their dreams, then quietly building those dreams into reality. Suddenly, everything seemed to fit. Elena hadn't discovered Room 6. She had unknowingly described it first. Someone had slowly recreated every detail around her until reality and memory became impossible to separate. But one question destroyed that explanation. Another girl, Rosalind Hart, described the exact same room in 1961, years before the project even existed. And an even older case from 1938 contained the same impossible drawing, It was as though every generation believed they had found the room first. The investigation soon led to an abandoned religious retreat dating back to 1911. Hidden beneath its foundation, ground-penetrating radar revealed a perfectly square underground chamber that had remained sealed for more than a century. When archaeologists finally opened it, the room was almost completely empty, except for one object. A single wooden chair stood quietly in the center. Carbon dating made the discovery even stranger. The chair had been built sometime in the 1980s, decades after the underground chamber had supposedly been sealed forever. Someone had entered a room that history insisted was never opened. As investigators connected more evidence, another disturbing pattern emerged. Every known victim had unknowingly crossed paths with buildings, schools, churches, or organizations linked to the same hidden company, Ashwick Meridian Trust. Then an anonymous whistleblower revealed one final secret. Employees had always been warned never to ask one question. Why did Room 6 seem to exist in more than one building at the same time? The deeper the investigation went, the more reality itself seemed to become unreliable. Security footage from a storage facility revealed a windowless room standing open with a single wooden chair inside, even though official records proved the unit had remained locked and empty for an entire year. Soon, the evidence itself began to change. Archived documents no longer matched the notes investigators had written only days earlier. Photographs showed details that weren't there before, while original case files seemed to rewrite themselves without anyone touching them. At first, everyone blamed memory. Then the photographs started disagreeing with each other. Even experts had no explanation. When detectives returned to the county archive, they discovered that 3 crucial pages from Marcus Reyes's original case file had vanished. Yet Reyes remembered every word. He admitted that on the night he entered Hollowgate, he wasn't alone. As he walked toward Room 6, another set of footsteps echoed behind him, perfectly matching his own. Every time he stopped, they stopped too. He never looked back. Searching through decades of disappearances uncovered another impossible pattern. Every major case connected to the spiral appeared roughly 33 years apart. If the sequence continued, the next event was expected in 2027. The team returned to Room 6 one final time. The chair had moved. It now faced the doorway, even though no one had entered the building for months. Security cameras recorded nothing except 4 unexplained seconds of complete darkness, the exact moment Elena Voss disappeared back in 1994. Following the money exposed a hidden behavioral research company that had quietly survived for decades under different names. Officially, it designed buildings to influence human behavior. Unofficially, investigators discovered something far more disturbing. The mysterious room had never been a legend. It had become a carefully perfected experiment. Every victim unknowingly described the room before someone built it around them. Then, investigators uncovered a forgotten storage unit containing Rosalind Hart's belongings. Inside lay a diary that continued for nearly 20 years after her official disappearance. Its final entry contained only one haunting sentence: "The room is bigger now, and I'm still waiting." When audio experts restored Elena's old cassette one last time, another voice emerged beneath hers. It belonged to Rosalind, a woman who had vanished decades before Elena was even born. Somehow, both voices were trapped inside the same recording, as though time itself had folded together inside that impossible room. The final excavation beneath the old retreat uncovered a sealed metal box filled with photographs. Each showed the same room in different decades, and with every image, it looked just a little closer to the present. Among the photographs recovered from the sealed metal box, one image froze the entire investigation. It showed room 6 exactly as the documentary crew had prepared it only days earlier, complete with modern lights and camera equipment. Standing beside the chair was one of the crew's own camera operators. According to every witness, he had never entered the chamber. Shaken by the discovery, he confessed something he had kept to himself. Just days before, he had dreamed of standing in a silent, windowless room, staring at a single chair while hearing footsteps behind him. He never turned around. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than a strange nightmare. Now, the photograph suggested someone had seen it long before he ever did. Filming stopped immediately. When the crew returned nearly 2 weeks later, the company at the center of the investigation had vanished. Its offices were empty. Every computer had been wiped clean. Every employee had disappeared without leaving a single trace. Only one object remained inside a small conference room: a solitary wooden chair. Believing the mystery was finally over, the team returned to the county archive to close the case forever. But resting on top of the sealed evidence box was a document no one remembered placing there. It was a modern construction permit for a small, windowless room. The homeowner listed on the permit was the documentary's own lead researcher. She insisted she had never signed the papers. Yet experts confirmed the signature was authentic. Contractors confirmed the room had already been built inside her house. Then, investigators noticed the final detail. The construction had officially been completed, 11 days before the permit was ever filed. After a century of disappearances, impossible evidence, and unanswered questions, one truth remained. The room had never been waiting for Elena. It had never been waiting for Rosalind. This time, it was waiting for whoever chose to investigate it next